like 16 and on school, and all of a sudden you're like this adult, but nobody, like, there's not that bridging course you know, that you go from your teens to your 20s and say, oh hey, this is now how you're supposed to act like as an adult. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you're back to come and join me for another video, and today will be part 2 of things I wish I knew when I was younger or in my 20s. So let's get right into it. If you're new here, hi there, and please consider subscribing down below and hit the bell so that you don't miss out on any of my juicy tips and juicy videos. I post a new video once a week, so be sure not to miss out on any of them. So let's get into today's video. Tip number 1, and this is quite a big one, would be to learn how to deal with stressful situations. This is not something that you can learn in a class. It's not something that they teach you really. How you're supposed to react when there are difficult situations and how you're supposed to cope with it. And you kind of just learn to deal with it. Like when someone close to you passes away, or someone's in a horrific car accident,
or you lose everything, you lose your car, they repossess your car, your husband leaves you, a child dies, or you have a miscarriage. There are a lot of horrible situations that happens on a day-to-day basis.
And nobody really tells you, you know, you're supposed to do this, or this is step 1, or, you know, that sort of thing. But I'm a firm believer of counseling. I've come through counseling before when I went through a terrible situation, and I know there's a stigma about counseling that it's only for certain people. You know, they don't really say that counseling is basically for anything and for everyone. If you feel that you are finding it difficult to deal with a situation, a boyfriend that you're getting over, if you are dating someone that you really feel is very important to you and that person leaves for no reason and they don't give an explanation, that can be really hard for you. And everyone wants to minimize it, but some people literally commit suicide over a breakup, and we will be like, why are you so ridiculous to commit suicide over a breakup? It's a guy. There's a lot of guys, but sometimes everyone's emotions are not the same, and that person might mean the world to you. And I feel that those are things that you can go see a counselor for. Nobody tells you that counseling is really good and it's necessary, I would say. It's really helpful. It's quite a big deal, because that is something that you will literally have to face throughout your entire life. If you go to work, they will literally ask you, they are looking for someone that can deal with stressful situations, that can deal with difficult situations, that can deal with problems. And they ask you, like, can you handle a stressful situation? Can you handle difficult clients? And a lot of people say yes, but once you're in that environment, then it really starts showing that once that client starts coming at you, you feel that you need to reciprocate what she's saying to you, how she's reacting, and then it's a blow up. And then they'd be like, oh, but I thought you could handle it. No, nobody really said or taught me physically how to deal with an emotion, you know. So I would say learn from an early age, as early as you possibly can. Like, what are the steps? Like, what are the things that works for you to get through a hard situation? Another thing that we focus a lot on is our age. Like, I blinked and I was like 34, you know. So like, I literally just turned 21 and I was like, okay, and yeah, I am 34, married with kids, you know. So it really goes so fast. So I would say, when you are young, try to enjoy it. Not even try to enjoy it, enjoy it. Like, literally just be in the moment. And like, I remember, I think I was like 20 or 21 when I just got my first car. When I turned 21 and I got my driver's license and I purchased my first car. I was already working, and I remember driving on the R300 here in Cape Town, and I thought to myself, I am so big. You know, I was like, I'm driving my own car that I purchased by myself. It's a car that I loved, and it was bought out of the box, you know, and I felt like I had things together, and it was such like a liberating feeling, and I really enjoyed that time. And I thought to myself, I'm like at the peak of my life, where I can literally, like the world is my oyster. Like, yes, the world is still my oyster, but I'm just saying, like, sometimes if you get that realization earlier, it really helps you, and it doesn't kick in like late when you're like 35 or like 40, you know. So as soon as you start, you know, as you feel like you've left your teens and you're into your early 20s, enjoy it, embrace it, and don't waste it. You can seriously have fun and not waste it, because those are two different things. People tend to have fun and it passes like 3 years or 4 years of their life, and all they can look back and see was fun and not really productivity or any hard work. You can still put in the work and still move forward, you know, in and grow as well at the same time. So it doesn't just have to be fun and like wasting your time. You can have fun and still grow as well. So another thing that you have to go through, or that you have to let go of very early in life, is childishness. And that is not something that people say. It's not something that we talk about. It's something that we call people, like, oh, stop being childish, and oh, you're being so childish, and it's being used very loosely. But it's not really something that people think about. You know, sometimes a relationship can break because of childishness. Sometimes a marriage can break because of childishness. Sometimes you can, if you are too playful at work, you can lose your job because of childishness, so you're not taking it seriously. Try to get into watching people that's older's lifestyles, whether it be on YouTube, whether it be reading a book, to see how it is that they respond, to see how it is that they act. And those are the types of things that would help you to get away from, because remember, you were literally just like 18 or like 16 and on school, and all of a sudden you're like this adult. But nobody, like, there's not that bridging course, you know, that you go from your teens to your 20s and say, oh, hey, this is now how you're supposed to act like as an adult, you know. So yes, people tend to dress differently, and they wear makeup, and they try to act more calm and together, but that doesn't mean that you're mature. Not being childish means that you are like receiving information and you are mulling it over, and then you respond in an adult way. For example, if there's an argument, you will not ignore it. You will not try to beat around the bush with situations. If your friend is doing drugs and she's playing around with it because of this guy, or she's just think, oh, let's have some fun, you should be an adult to address it and tell her, look, this is not funny, you know. So those are ways that you can also act as an adult, and not just dressing up. Dressing up doesn't mean you're an adult. It doesn't mean that you are big. Doesn't mean anything. It just means that you're dressing up. So letting go of a childlike mind will definitely help you in the long run. It will avoid people calling you childish. It will help you to deal with situations in a more mature way, speaking through problems and dealing with awkward situations. Is try as far as possible to have a side hustle. A side hustle is going to help you. It will also teach you business skills. It will also teach you how to deal with clientele. It will teach you a lot of things. I've got like a small business that I buy and sell things, and you learn to do your own marketing, you learn to do your own accounting, you learn to do sales, you learn negotiating skills is something that you learn how to do. Being disappointed by people is something that you learn. So there's basically a lot of things that you learn if you have a side hustle, even if it's selling your books that you no longer use for college. Besides the skills, it's nice to have pocket money. You can turn that money that you're getting into your savings. It can be for your car that you want to buy cash, or it can literally be for anything. So, but the skills of a side hustle is definitely going to come in handy later. Another one is I know you're going to see, so this is a boring one, but it's really serious. When you get older, you will thank me later. And that is savings, savings, savings. And don't skip the video just yet. Just hear me out. When I say savings, I mean like your retirement fund and a pension fund and investments. Those boring things that people always talk about. You're like, I'm kind of having fun right now. I'm not really in the mood to to be saving, you know, because I want to buy me some Gucci shoes and I haven't had my Louis Vuitton bag yet. So, but I promise you, as you get older, you will realize, like, gee whiz, I seriously wished I started earlier, because as soon as you get a job and you start saving, when you're older, even look at older people around you, you can see that they're going to end up living off the government, and that is not going to help them, because you still need to pay rent, you still need to eat, you still need to buy clothes and shoes and underwear as an old person. So those responsibilities doesn't go away when you get older. It doesn't get easier, it doesn't get lighter. It's literally the same thing. So I would say definitely, even if it's literally 100 Rand that you're going to put on your account as a debit order every month, start as soon as you can. Even if it's in college, try and put 100 Rand away, even if it's in a 30-day account or a 90-day account. Try and just forget about it. So if you don't want to go for the Old Mutuals or Metropolitan or whatever your accounts there is, or Investec, or Alan Gray's even, if you don't want to do like the big amounts, like a 5,000 or 10,000 or 20,000 that you want to put away in bulk, you can start small. And you might think that the 100 Rand doesn't make a difference. Like, what is 50 Rand? What is 100 Rand? Doesn't matter. It will matter later, I promise you. Like, I wish I started early in my 20s, but I kept on cancelling because I thought, this is like a luxury. But as you get older, old people will tell you that it's not a luxury, because as an old person, you would rather be able to put yourself in a good home if your family doesn't want to look after you, and have like a nice life where you get like people in Observatory or in Cape Town, they go out, they come fetch them with a nice van, they drive them, they go play what games or whatever they do, but they take them out for a walk. They've got people that does that with them, you know, whereby if you're just living off the government, you literally have to wait on other people, which is not nice. You can't pay a bond at that age. You can't afford it from the government's money. So if you have your savings and you started it young, that is definitely something that will help you. Even if it's 100 Rand or whatever your currency is, it's something that you have to start early. I promise you, you will really thank me later. I honestly have so many tips. Learn how to eat healthy very early. If it's not something in your house, if it is, kudos to you. If it's not, please try and put that on your to-do list of learning how to eat healthy. It's really important. You don't want to be sitting with sugar, diabetes, and all sorts of other aches and pains and joint problems and whatever else later in your life. I would say learn how to make good decisions. And this, you would think it should be common knowledge, but it's really not. Even if you look at younger people, for example, if you're now currently in your early 20s, if you look at school, in South Africa we call it like grade 10, grade 8, grade 9, and you look at the decisions that they are making, you will tell them, you would even advise them, hello, that is not a good decision. I would advise you to study. Learning how to make good decisions is a skill. It's something that you have to learn how to do. It's not a common sense thing, I promise you. But learning how to make decisions, good decisions, the right decisions for your life is based on your goals and where you are going and where you see yourself in the next couple of years. It's not going to be based on my best friend and we are going to be together forever and what she likes will you know be the same for what I would like. It's not that, because as you're growing older, your best friend is not going to be around forever. So your decisions will be different. You are going to have to make some hard decisions at some point, and whichever path you choose will always have a consequence. And as we know by now, not making a decision is a decision. So making good decisions is a skill, and it's something that you have to learn very early. because your whole life will consist of decisions. It's going to be choices everywhere. You're going to decide to get up at 8, at 6 or 4, but you have to pick one. You still have to pick one. Or you're going to sleep late until 11 o'clock. You're still going to pick one. I wish I focused a bit more on making good decisions for my life and not just any decision. So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button down there. Leave a comment as well if you enjoyed any of the tips. Feel free to share any of your life experiences and your tips that you have gone through as well. I hope to see you back here in the next video. Goodbye.